Ready?
Hello and welcome to Rhythm and Pixels, a video game music podcast. This is a podcast all about video game music and the people who love them.
And also the equipment that plays them.
And the microphones that pick up my voice.
And the weather that pervades around the area while you are listening to the music or playing the games of which the music is hosted on.
Right. And the headphones which cover the curve of your skull and allow video game music to enter your eardrums and into your brain.
And the food that you consume while you're shoving it down your gullet as you're enjoying the sights and sounds and tastes.
And then later that evening, no, I'm kidding.
Oh, that's too far.
We are a video game music podcast, and we are your hosts. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
We listen to great video game music every week from all consoles and all generations, and this episode is from Podcast World 19, Episode 10. This is the end of Season 19.
The end of our story.
I know. It was so perfect that 19-9 was for the Dreamcast episode.
It really was. Yeah. I didn't even realize it until it was done and done. I was like, whoa, perfection.
Yeah, I really liked doing that episode. I liked our
19-9 released on 9/9/19.
That's right. And it was all about 9/9.
99,
right?
But 999, the game, wasn't involved in the 9/9/99 release date of the 9/9/19 Dreamcast episode. That was World 19-9.
Wasn't there a company
9
909? No,
989 Studios.
989. Yeah, they did that one game with the spies and they shoot the things. It was on the PlayStation and it had a really weird system for aiming. It was called...
You're asking the wrong guy, because it's amazing how much... All thing I remember is like when they announced their games, go 989 Studios. So they did some sports games.
Sports games.
I want to say,
lots of sports games.
I want to say you relate with Jet Moto, too, but
I
could be wrong.
So hard right now.
You got a whole episode to figure it out.
No, I don't.
Or just cheat and Google it.
It's gone forever. Anyway, this episode is all about organization.
Get organized, goober.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the title on the podcast. Get organized, you goober.
Yes.
Yes. Games about organization. Organizing things in games or games where you spend most of your time organizing.
Or things that I really need to be getting done at my house.
Organizing while you're playing the game?
Yes.
Or organizing all of your games?
All of those things. All of it's important and all of it needs to be done.
Oh, man. Well, before we start, what have you been reviewing lately? What were the last couple games you reviewed?
I'm not going to name one of them because it'll come up on the show. Mm-hmm. But I've been getting into, it's been this hilarious sense of, lewd titles I've been getting. There was a game called...
I know. You've been getting these adult, not adult, but mature, but not mature.
Quote-unquote mature games, because they're not.
Anime games.
And this last one, though...
I'm concerned you're going to get pigeonholed into these titles.
That's the thing, though.
Because maybe they like to hear your take on them.
Honestly, I'm fine with it. I don't mind giving it. It's a hilarious take. But this last one I got, I did not expect it to be that. It was a game called Gun Pixies on the Switch.
Okay. I actually read another review of that.
Yeah, the game itself... by just the concept of what it was seemed appealing. It was you're tiny little alien people running around people's houses, and you have a gun, and you're shooting little octopi, and you're exploring the house. I like games that involve being tiny in big worlds. Breath of Fire had a section where you shrunk down and you fought cockroaches in the walls of a building. That was awesome. Probably my favorite part of Breath of Fire 1.
Yeah, or Katamari Damacy.
Yeah, you're running around the houses, picking up screws and mess. Great stuff. So this game spoke to me, but then it got weird.
But then you have to shoot things, and
it got weird.
Yeah,
it got weird. Aside from that, let me see, what else have I really reviewed?
Well, what did you give it? What number did you give it?
Honestly,
did you give it a rating?
Oh no! In fact, there are no numeric ratings. They have a weird not weird because it's actually a reasonable format, but he has a format where he just goes by 4 things.
Right.
Buy it, try it, deny it, and F it, why not?
Yeah, I like that. There's I used to watch this one YouTube series of movie reviews where it was just Like they liked it or they didn't like it. And it was all down to do I agree with the people watching the movie? Like, do I have the similar taste? If I have a similar taste, then I'm going to agree with them no matter what the rating the movie got on, like, Rotten Tomatoes.
And that's the beauty of it, too. Like I actually had a listener inquire recently, and I figured it'd be good to bring up on the show as well. Like, why is it that, like, how do you properly review a game if you don't have a numeric rating attributed to it? Like, 1 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 or whatever. Now, my honest to God opinion on this thing is that, well, one, like, even hush you. Even with the buy it, try it, deny it scenario, it's honestly broken up in a way where, like, buy it is pretty much a vehement, this is one of my best, I love this game so much that it's a must get. Try it is pretty much everything. Deny it is the same strength of, this game is just atrocious. And when it's atrocious, I mean, like, it's got technical problems. It's not even necessarily so much that I didn't personally enjoy. I mean, it's got to have problems to deny it. And then the last one, the FYI, is literally this game costs $2 and it's enjoyable enough that what are you going to lose? It's $2. Now, the nebulous try window and even everything in general, the idea behind a good review is just being descriptive. Now, I'm not saying read the bullet points off the back of the box. This game has walking and occasional running. You get a gun and you get a grenade, and sometimes you can chew the bullets or you can spit the bullets like some sort of cannon mouth guy. None of that kind of stuff. Though I do give a brief overview. But the overall take on a review without numbers is actually talking about the things you like and the things you don't like. Hearing the actual take on why a person likes or dislikes something. Because in reality, the numeric rating system is kind of nebulous and pointless. Like there's no real value to it aside from a quick take. Yeah. But then that quick take loses, like back in the day, maybe it was awesome. But as we get older and more hits the market, I feel like it loses a lot of its value. Like an 8 today, how's that compared to an 8 from 5 years ago? I mean, does this game that got an 8 on the Game Boy Advance measure up to this game that got a 9 on the PS4? Mm-hmm. I mean, the number is just kind of there. Furthermore, I could easily write a review or tell you about a game and just knock it to shreds and then come back at you later and say, yeah, I give this game a 9 out of 10. You should pick this up. And honestly, I joke about this because I'm like, this game is the best game. I love this game. I've had so much fun with it. Here are the reasons why. What do you give it, Pernell? I would never buy this game. This is a waste of your money. Don't even do it. And I'll be like, there it is. There's my review.
My favorite reviews are when you're like, Rob, this game was great. I enjoyed it so much. You are never going to play it.
Exactly.
Don't even bother.
And that's the beauty of it, because like I can honestly, and that's a genuine review. I can say this is a spectacular game in every way, and I know you won't play it. It's not a knock or a slight. It's just I have an understanding of your gaming taste. Now, of course, you might flip on me one day and go, screw you, buddy. I'm going to play it and I'm going to show you. But for the most part, I can kind of gauge that. And the same can go for a listener. They might hear me talk something up, but I might mention that one thing despite me saying, oh, you need to go buy this today. They might hear this one element about me liking the game where they'll go, nah, man, that just broke it for me. This game only has nightmare mode? That's not how I fly. I want to reason my games. I don't need to suffer like that.
Right. Oh, it's got great puzzles. Oh, it's got some cute stories and characters. But 50% of the game is like nudie girls. That's not for me.
That's not for me. Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
And then the last element to this, and it kind of ties back into the earlier mentioning of the numbering system, the numbers have kind of gotten flawed in how they're even utilized. It's supposed to be 1 through 10. 5 is average, 10 is as near to perfect as you're going to get, and 1 is just abysmal, don't even bother.
And this is like what? Like for what? Metacritic or something?
Generally, most game systems, because it's usually going to be 1 through 10 or 1 through 100. So you're just breaking it down to having metrics of 10.
Yeah, 1 through 10 with decimal.
And with IGN, with their 8 points, it's basically a 100-point system, because 8.5, that's 85. But due to how people perceive reviews to work and how they expect to see them get rated, the actual review scale is 5 to 10. Because if it's, in some respects, 6 to 10.
Yeah.
Because if you get a game lower than like a 7, it may as well not even exist for people. They're like, you gave this game a 6.5? That's horrible.
They might not even review it.
I mean, just above average.
They might not even like run that review on the website because it's so low.
Yeah,
right?
And it's a problem because it it diminishes the options available to the actual reviewer to say this game is a 5, not because it's bad, but because I find it to be average. This is an average game.
All right, so I don't play a lot of games, and we should get to some music soon, but I don't play a lot of games, but how I discover new games now, or like some stuff that I'm interested in, is by following developers and artists on Twitter.
Yes!
Because like, the game might not be out yet, but you get to see like, oh, I just worked on these sprites, or hey, I just built like this level and it looks really cool. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy awesome. Like One Step from Eden, which is coming out, like it keeps looking cooler and cooler. Super Blood Hockey, that guy is hilarious.
I say to get people to play that with me more because I have that.
It looks crazy. And then I think the guy who does the Untitled Duck game, he's got a bunch of stuff.
Can't wait for that.
He's got a bunch of stuff like where he just like does these weird like 3D models of raccoons just like punching each other and like getting into all sorts of like weird like adventures. It's so funny. And it's just really cool to see the creative process and people just sharing what they're into. And that gets me excited for the games.
I agree. And there's a game I learned about that way called like Invisigun, which I need to buy. The only reason I haven't bought it yet because I'm trying to figure out, is it worth buying if it's primarily designed for multiplayer? Do I need to really focus on the single player? And the last thing I heard about, I finally said, screw it, I'm not even going to wait for a sale. I want to give the developer some money, and I'm going to buy it. So I'm probably going to be grabbing it this weekend. But it's like Bomberman, but everyone's invisible.
Oh, I kind of like that. That sounds like a hidden area board game, where like you know where your character is,
but no one else does.
Yeah, you're kind of dropping like sonar on places.
So what happens is you're walking around, like you might trudge through snow on the ground, so you'll see footprints, and the person will be able to gauge it. And if you fire your gun or use one of your specials, you'll briefly show up on the screen, and that's how people, there he is, he's over there, and they'll start trying to encourage you, and it's just this weird game of cat and mouse where you're like, can I move? Is it safe to move? You'll be counting your footsteps. Like, I need to go 3 spaces. I got to move exactly 3 and stop. And it just sounds,
cool.
It's so different sounding. I want to give that game my attention.
Invisigun?
It's called Invisigun.
That sounds cool. Yeah, but yeah, if you're listening to this and you're interested about where to look for on Twitter, just look up hashtag game dev, hashtag indie game dev, or just hashtag screenshot Saturday.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, and that's where, and people don't do it on Saturdays. So it's like you get to see what people have been working on. And even stuff that's just not like going to get released. Maybe it's stuff that's like a game jam or something like that.
And I got to tell you, and then we totally move it, but I could say beyond a shadow of a doubt now, not even just because I've been doing reviews, but honestly, even beyond that, I've hit this weird point where I look forward to these small games way more than AAA stuff. Like Borderlands 3 just came out, and I bought it specifically to play with Tim, listener Tim. I don't get to play games with him much, so the fact that he actually bought a PS4, I was like, well, I got to buy this game now to play with you.
Yeah.
But I'm buying it, and I'm going to play with him. But was I excited for Borderlands 3? Not really. All my friends were. I wasn't. You know what I was excited for? One of the games we're going to talk about on this episode.
Oh, yes.
And also other dinky games. Like there's a game coming out called Mabel in the Wood, which is this little girl running through the woods with a sword, and she can like become monsters.
That sounds great.
Fly around and mess. And there's this other game I want to look into. Even if I don't get a review code for it, I'm going to buy it. It's called like Mistwood or Mistvale. I actually downloaded the demo for it on the Switch recently, and it's an awesome one.
Oh yeah,
it's like a dungeon exploration game with events in the dungeon, and the characters they're like gritty Etrigan Odyssey looking characters.
Oh, cool!
It's
I'll tell you what, like
Mistover.
If you're interested in some of the games that we're talking about, in the show notes on the website, we'll have links to these things and like maybe like trailers and stuff that you can check out.
All right.
So this episode is all about organization. Let's get organized.
Yes.
Okay, so this game I have put more hours into than probably any game I've ever played.
It's Final Fantasy X?
It is. No, it's got to be more than that. I swear it's more than that because I've played it on planes. I've played it waiting around. I've played it during work meetings.
Played it with ham. Played it with some spam.
This is on iOS. I think you can get it on Steam and some other places, but it's called Threes. And this track is the only track that plays in the game if you decide to have the music playing. It's by the group or by the artist Big Giant Circles, who is Jimmy Hinson, and the track is called Threes is the Bee's Knees.
It is by Jimmy Hinson.
By Jimmy Hinson, too. Big Giant Circles. So let's go.
Little Jimmy Hinson,
let's play some Threes. listening to the track Threes is the Bee's Knees from the game Threes on iOS, composed by Big Giant Circles, Jimmy Hinson. Big Giant Circles, Jimmy Hinson.
It was like Jimmy Hinson made a huge circle for this track. That was probably one of the longest normal tracks we've ever featured on the show.
Yeah, it's tough because like it's a puzzle game that it's very meditative and you spend a lot of time on it, and there's only one song. And it's not like during the title screen, it's when you start playing. So it's got to be real long and loop really well.
And it seems like this one does exactly that. I was listening to it, and honestly, sounded like something that could have easily been in like the Trails of Cold Steel, like a town theme or like like an event sound, like just talking to some people about their day. Like, hey,
yeah, I think I know. Yeah, I think I know what you mean. I like the accordion. I can kind of get that vibe, like in a town theme, you know, walking around and everyone's pretty happy.
There's that one guy who's just doing polka in the corner. No one can shut him down. He's just having too much friggin' fun. Love it.
So
what the heck is Threes? Because honestly, when I hear the title,
amazing.
I just feel like they took the match 3 genre and just distilled it down to its most base form and say, here's some music over it.
No, well, it's so you have tiles. I think it's from like 5 by 6, and each one's got a number on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you have a 3, you can only drag a 3 on top of it.
Oh, okay.
And then that 3 turns into 3 plus 3 turns into a 6. Now you can only put a 6 on top of the 6. That turns into a 12.
Oh, so this is basically 2048?
It's the sequel, essentially.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But you start the game out with a 1 and a 2 that can only match together.
Mm-hmm.
And then you end up with 3s. And then you're matching 3s until you get to the highest tile you can. But it gets tight so fast. Like, so fast.
This could be money. See, this is like the eventual update to Money Puzzle Exchanger, basically.
Oh, my God. It's insanely addictive. When I used to get really nervous on airplanes, like especially during like takeoff and landing, and so I got super addicted to Sudoku, which is in itself a very like organizational based game.
It distracts you while you're doing all the takeoff and landing.
And then 3s eventually took over for that. When I was like traveling back and forth for work a lot in Texas, I would play 3s constantly, and then I would play it during meetings. Like, you know, it's just like.
Probably were glad when they finally started letting up on all the restrictions on the planes. Like, you can't have electronics. Now you can.
Yeah, it's like, it's just turn on airplane mode. I'm like, sure, I can play 3s.
I never understood that. Well, I don't want to be. I'm sure someone's going to write back, or maybe not. I don't know. But like, I was always confused. But it's like, I know my phone has nothing. Is not affecting the instruments in any way. This is not demagnetizing the plane.
Yeah, it's probably just like, you know, protecting themselves from anything else that could happen.
Yeah, because I guess when you're up that high, a what if is enough.
But it's just matching numbers together, and then just trying to organize things in a way so that you can always get the higher numbers onto the higher numbers. Because once you have like a really high number, like a 500s or something, it's so hard to get the next one. Because then you're that much, you can't move that one around anymore. Like, it's stuck until you can match it up to another one.
And if I remember correctly, the general premise is you're just trying to survive, because eventually you'll get back yourself in the corner where no legal moves exist.
Exactly, and you can do that real fast. You can back yourself in the corner so fast, and you're like, how did I do this? And so it's addictive. You go it over and over and over and over again. And this music's going on in the background, and it's so good. The music is so good, I've never turned it off. It's that good.
Honestly, it's doing a great job looping this dialogue, because it's a perfect background. It's not interrupting anything. I don't notice anything about it that would set me off to not want to continue having a conversation. This is a quality tune.
This is quality tune. I like it. I like all of the instruments. I like the little singing in the middle.
I love that I'm drinking a chai tea while it's playing too.
Yeah, man.
Well, it's a frozen chai tea.
You are like all about the nighttime caffeine.
I don't know why. I'm sure it doesn't even work anymore. I keep considering giving up caffeine, or at least severely reducing it and seeing how it affects my blood. But I like caffeine.
It's hard. It's hard, man. Caffeine is like probably my biggest addiction. Like, I'll have a day where I'll have like almost none, and then I'll have a day where it's just like nonstop. I'm like, I want more.
Hey, at least it's not drywall, right?
Yeah. Drywall.
Yeah.
At least it's not drywall.
Yeah. Or, couch cushioning.
Or couch cushions.
Yeah.
Or why would I eat couch cushions?
Or use diapers.
Okay, so at least it's not garbage.
Yeah, literally.
Okay. I don't know. It can't be that good for me. You know what I mean? Like, I went to a DDR tournament last weekend, and I took you with me. and it was not just any DDR tournament. It was like a marathon set, and so I had an hour to warm up, an hour to modify the pad to how I wanted it, and then an hour to finish as many stupid hard songs as I could in an hour. And I actually didn't do that bad. I ranked 22nd out of 24th in the lower division.
Nice.
And it was only because I picked songs that I could finish.
And for those who are like 22nd out of 24th, oh what? But to even get to that, to even be allowed in that, is rough. Because I didn't watch for long because I had my own agenda when I got there. But
you were playing some other games.
I was getting in. Yeah,
but it's crazy. Yeah, and the high level stuff was happening earlier in the day. Like the upper division, you actually had to do that hour long thing, and then an official, not an official, like an actual marathon mix of 60 minutes.
Picture going to your local Dave & Buster's or Round 1 arcade, and you see that group of guys who are by the machine who clearly have been there for a bit. They got the towels out and they're high-fiving each other, sweaty, and they're just moving like gazelles across arrows. And you're like, how in the heck are they doing that? But then they always stop after 2 minutes and they catch their breath and they choose another song. With Rob doing it and this thing he was in, there is no stopping.
There's no stop.
It's that same pacing of insanity that people aren't trying to do for 2 minutes, and he's doing it for an hour straight.
Yeah.
It makes me tired watching it.
It's crazy. The lower division didn't have the full hour, so it was like I only had like 14 minutes on a timer. So I could use that between songs, but that went by so fast. It went by so fast.
Part of the fun, though.
I loved it.
And the best part is after we left the place, you were like sore in the legs, and I was sore in the hands and arms. Like my fingers were blistered.
Yeah, like you said, my fingers are tingling.
Yeah, they were literally blistered. When I got home, my fingers still hurt, and they didn't feel better until the next morning.
So I was like, I'll drive with the steering wheel, and then you hit the pedals.
Yeah, that's right. Teamwork makes the dream work.
But yeah, so I brought that up because I had a lot of caffeine that night because I usually play in the mornings, and I didn't get my time slot until 11 p.m.
That
so
was
I played until
wheelhouse.
Midnight. Oh my gosh! And so
you got home at 1:30.
Yeah, I got home at 1:30. At least it wasn't that far away. But I was drinking this energy drink called Rain, REIGN.
Yeah, I love that brand now. They have like cotton candy flavor.
That's my favorite. I drank 2 of those. My heart was like.
It gets you going, man.
I didn't really drink 2 of those. I drank 1 of those, but it was like too much. It was way too much. Although I love that flavor, and it's I'm a sucker for the sugar, or the sugary flavor. I don't think there's any sugar in it. It's just all chemical.
It's faux sugar.
So the faux sugar. All right. So what's your first track?
My track will not be this lengthy, but it will be good.
Yeah, we got to keep it in order too. So if you can keep this like an alphabetical or numerical. So this is 3. Is your track number 4?
No.
Damn it.
But I could pick one and keep the alphabet rolling. That could be pretty funny. I'll do that, actually. So my first track is actually from the game Animal Crossing New Leaf. See? A!
Oh, okay.
Boom! So now you get... Well, obviously, if you don't manage to break this order after this, I'll be shocked. Because there's no way that I'm going to have to be able to do the full stream. Anyway, Animal Crossing New Leaf. Track title is called TIY. And the composer is Kazume Totaka.
now.
You're listening to... No, you don't. You're listening to TIY from the game Animal Crossing New Leaf for the Nintendo, I want to say 3DS. And it was composed by Kazume Totaka. It's funny that I didn't even remember the name, what system it was on, even though I friggin' owned it for a long time. This game is a perfect first pick for me for the show because it emboldens organization. Well, I won't say emboldens it because it's already it's a part of the game, not the other way around.
The game is like,
but the game is the epitome of the organization. There we go. So, first and foremost, this track is one of the shop things that takes place and that plays throughout the game. So, as you play the game, you are buying tons of stuff and you're upgrading the town using your finances, and slowly but surely the shop gets bigger and bigger and offers more and more stuff. So, first thought of organization and why it factors into this game in regards to this choice is, of course, the shop itself. Having tons of merchandise, always stocked the exact specific set of things every day. There's going to be like 2 carpets, 2 wallpapers, and like a bed or something, and then some junk, because there's tons of junk in this game that can be purchased. Mm-hmm. Now, the real issue and why this game drove me batty is that the entire game is collecting things. That's pretty much what Animal Crossing is. Yeah, you can talk to your animal friends or whatever, but I ain't time for that. You're collecting stuff. You're collecting bugs. You're collecting shells. You're collecting furniture, garments, and you gotta store it all somewhere. And in my case, it was in my slowly increasing in size house, which I kept expanding. I would add a room here, add a room there.
You get a room and just fill it with like seashells?
Oh, I'll get to that. So, start out with one room in your house. Not much stuff there.
Oh, well, let me tell you a story.
Yeah, it got bad. So, it starts out, you get that one room, and you don't have a lot of stuff in the game, so you're kind of relaxed. Like, okay, well, I got this. I see this cool, I don't know, like polka dot furniture set. I'll get the polka dot couch, the polka dot wallpaper, polka dot carpet, blah, blah, blah. And you set the whole thing up. It looks nice. Mm-hmm. And then you later learn there's an obtuse shape wallpaper furniture set. You go and buy that. And now you got to do something with the old furniture. You don't want to sell it because what if you want to use it later? You might want to accessorize and change it up a bit for when you get visitors to your town.
That sounds like Purnell thing.
Oh, no. This is the one time where I think people agree with me. This is an Animal Crossing
This is an Animal Crossing.
This is an Animal Crossing.
This is not a Purnell hoarding all the high potions in Phoenix Downs you could find.
Oh, no. But I do feel like I'm probably above and beyond what some folks do, because what would happen is I did it, and then I did it again. And I got another room added to that, so I could use 2 furniture and wallpaper sets. 3rd room, then a 4th room, then a basement. That's when it got really bad. Because the basement became storage heaven. I had basically the basement could just be this giant room, and each room
out in the basement,
it was a bunch of squares on the floor. Now each tile on the floor could hold one item. So I would have rows upon rows laid out where I'd have like, this row is all wigs. This row is all carpets. This row is all wallpaper, but it matches vertically with the actual rug that I had on the upper row. And I just kept doing it.
So you had like a house, and then you go in the basement, and it was just like stuff.
It's just stuff. It was like life imitating reality, game imitating reality.
Yeah, art imitating life. Yep.
It was just a bunch of junk piled up in my basement. And if I went down there, I was like, okay, I gotta find my disco wig. Where the heck is it? The basement.
Now I've seen your game room, and now it's life imitating art.
But then this is where art goes beyond life.
Oh no!
See, outside of the house was grass, sitting atop dirt, dirt which could be moved with a shovel. So I would also bury things that I needed to have that wouldn't fit my house.
Am I going to find all your old Sega Saturn games like buried in the yard?
You might. I'm not going to tell you, because then you'll dig them up and then say, we did it for your own good, Purnell. We purged your backyard of all your collectibles.
I just needed more space for all my PlayStation games.
Yeah, all the SNES games are stored in plastic bags buried in the back. Wait, I said too much.
All my special editions that don't actually fit on a shelf.
They're now in the backyard.
They're in a chest in the backyard. No one will find it.
Ever. Wow. But yeah, this game is horrible for that. And I can picture some folks having it where they're like, yeah, I only want 3 furniture sets, and I'll just sell the rest to a friend or just dump them at Nook's shop.
Right.
Or the Nooklings, rather, their shop. But
Nooklings.
it's just so much. And then I didn't even get to the fruit and the turnips.
But do they go bad?
The turnips do.
Turnips go bad.
Yeah,
So fruit's like what? It's like waxed.
Yeah, probably. It surprisingly never goes bad. But there was a my memory might be off here, so someone might correct me. I'm pretty sure they were turnips or something like a turnip.
Yeah.
But you could grow those like the other fruits and vegetables.
And if you didn't jump ahead in the episode, I remember the name of the game. It was called Siphon Filter from 989 Studios.
Bam! Good memory.
All right.
I knew it was going to happen.
It just took like 40 minutes.
So you would get these turnips. And you could sell the turnips like any other thing. Yeah. Now, with the fruit in the game, each town had a different fruit that was worth, that was like a common and grown thing there, and it was worth more money sold there than otherwise. So you could do that. But with turnips, there was like a stock market sort of thing where every week turnips would have a certain new monetary value to them. Mm-hmm. And depending on what they were in your town, you either be the time to sell them or the time to just not sell them.
So you're playing the turnip market.
Playing the turnip market.
Ooh.
But they spoil. So if you hold on to the turnips for too long, they'll go bad. So you spend tons of money to get these turnips planted and grown, and then they die. So you get no money. So what I used to do, started out small. Hang out with friends online in my little video game group that I created. Mm-hmm. And when someone had a high-value turnip market, they'd go make the announcement, come to my town, sell your crap. Now's the time. Sell, sell, sell. So everybody would start coming to this guy's town. You have to promise not to vandalize anything. I never kept that promise. And you would go in, and you would sell your junk, make a hearty profit, leave a small cut for the person who lets you in, and then you go home. And then eventually, I had to go worldwide. So I joined Reddit for the sole purpose of trading turnips.
Trading turnips.
It's the only reason I joined Reddit. And I have like a karma of 2.
Okay, did you spend real money
No.
on the turnip market?
No.
You didn't
I'm too cheap for that. I'll never spend real money on a game.
Do you think
That's not
Do you
to buy
think
it.
other people did spend real money? Yeah.
Wait. Maybe. It depends, because you'd have to spend it outside of the game. Like, you'd have to be hey, I'll give you $10 if you let me come into your town and sell these turnips.
I mean, like, this is like way old school, but there was a guy I used to work with at Office Depot. I mean, this is a long time ago. And he did on the side was he would farm rare items in Diablo or something.
Oh, people still do that.
And he would sell it to people like on floppy disks. And I was like, dude, people are giving you money. He's like, yeah, man, I made a few $100s. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is Diablo.
People do that mess now. There's cats that will make an account, max it out, and get tired of the game, and then sell it to someone else for like $500 and say, look, I'm done playing Diablo. You want my maxed out account?
Man, that is...
Or in my case, someone will steal your account. You don't play Diablo 3 forever.
Yep.
And then you come back to the game 3 years later for a kick of nostalgia and see that 3 maxed out characters in your file that someone else used when they stole your account to farm items that they were selling to other people.
You're like, what? Oh, that's crazy.
It was
to get around like the terms of service, like they use someone else's account and
I was shocked. Like, why are these characters on my game? Because someone stole my account in the past and I didn't realize it.
Well, we're going to move on here. My next game is also from iOS, and it's called I Love Hue. Like, I love Hue. But Hue, H-U-E, as in, like, colors. This is the main theme from the game. I think there's only one theme. It's just the title theme. And the artist is unknown. I couldn't find the composer. It's very possible that it's not a team of developers or a team that worked on this game. It's like a team in quotation marks, and it's like one guy. But
he just wants the world to know that he wants to be a part of a team.
It's an amazing game. It's really great. It's out there for free, unlike Threes, which I think is like $3, but worth it. Hue is just an amazing, or I love Hue. It's just an amazing puzzle game.
Admittedly, Hue is also a great puzzle game.
Hue is awesome too. Yeah, that was free for a while on PlayStation Network. But this is the main theme from the game I Love Hue for iOS, and the composer is unknown. This is the main theme from the game I Love Hue for the iOS. Composer is unknown. This game is
relaxing.
Yeah, this is amazing. This game is like one of the ones where they advertise it as the relaxing game to calm yourself in a stressful world. And again, it's a set of tiles, but all of the tiles are colors, like gradient colors, and they all match up to be a series of gradients from like red to blue and everything in between, up and down, left and right. Like maybe up and down is red to purple, and then left and right is red to maybe yellow.
Okay.
But then like everything else in between, you have to figure out. It's all
like levels of like combining the colors.
Yeah, and then all the tiles get mismatched, and so yes, it's a matter of just taking the tile, move it over here, move it over there, move it over here, move it over. You're swapping tiles until you get the gradients right in the right spot.
All right, so it's basically a sliding block puzzle like we used to grow up, but it's based on colors.
Yeah, it's not really sliding blocks. You're swapping. You can swap them anywhere on the thing, but it's just colors. But what makes it interesting is that it doesn't tell you when it's in the right spot. You only know from looking at it until the puzzle's completed. But then once it's completed, it feels really good because then you're like, oh, all the colors like actually blend together perfectly, and then the whole screen wipes to the actual like color gradient, and it looks really pretty. And then it goes to the next one.
Color maelstrom.
Yeah, it's really cool. But what's really neat about it is you don't realize the how your brain really wants to put things in order. So if it's looking at a yellow, but if the yellow is surrounded by all these other blues, it doesn't look yellow anymore. It looks like brown or orange or something. Until you move it outside of like this blue section, and then it looks green or yellow or whatever it needs to be. So like until you move things around, your brain is like assigning colors to things because it just can't handle all that information.
I gotta just flat out say, just for some weird reason, it just made me want to think of it and say it. The concept of colors is amazing.
It is.
It's the fact that, in a sense, nothing actually has color, and the color is based off of light reflection.
Yeah.
And then all humans pretty much can, not all, but most humans can pretty much see color hues within a similar spectral range, with the exception of folks that are either colorblind or just have like they're missing certain colors.
Right.
But like generally, we're going to both see blue if we look at that container. Now, will I see like a weirder shade of blue? Don't know.
That's what it's interesting because like I thought about this a lot when I was in art school. It was like color doesn't exist without light, and we're only processing what we're seeing as a color. We're both seeing blue, but we might be seeing completely different blues.
Yep.
You know?
It's amazing, isn't it? And then you get that one thing, like, for example, that goofy dress thing that came up many moons ago. Is it gold or was it gold and white or blue and magenta or whatever?
That is an example of how hue plays. Imagine that dress, and you got to match it back together to a specific color.
Oh, I'd quit. I'd quit.
But it's just like, it doesn't time you. It doesn't like count like how many moves you made. You just do it. It's really fun.
Just relaxing.
It's just very cool. It's very, very cool. So highly recommend this title. And it's free, so go try it.
Joe Hugh.
Give it a 10 out of 10.
Oh, don't you dare. I give this game a 11 out of Schenectady.
Yeah. I got Christy playing it.
Really?
Yeah, she got into it.
Well, I shouldn't be surprised there. I mean, I feel like if she's going to play a game, it'll be a puzzler, some sort of like thinky puzzler game.
Yeah, she's really into the if there's an aspect of the game that's like putting things in order, she's really into it.
Oh, she'll like this episode.
Yeah, I mean, she'll spend like hours just organizing her books. Like, and she's been doing that since she's been like little. Like, she'll just take all of her books off the shelves and then like she'll assign. Like when she was a kid, she actually made her own like library system, and she put like numbers on the binders, like like a Dewey Decimal System. And
that's pretty cool.
She organized everything. What's crazy? This is years ago. We like maybe 10 years ago or maybe 8 years ago. You know, there's like a book swap that happens at the Concord Mall.
Yeah,
you can buy like used books. She found one of her old books when she was younger.
Like one of her actual books.
Yeah, that must have gotten sold off like when the house was sold or something. And it had her handwriting on it. It had like the sticker on the spine with like the old Dewey Decimal System.
That would
like
feel
number
really
on it.
good to see.
And we looked at that. We're like, that's so neat. Like it's all kind of.
Did she buy it?
I don't remember.
If she did not have to.
Okay, if she did, it's not around anymore because we've had so many books that after our second move, we just can't do it anymore. Books are so heavy.
That's going to be me if I ever leave my house.
It's like the hardest things to do are moving like a couch in a really difficult hallway, and then my wife's books.
Yeah, because books are stupid heavy. I think I even carried a few of those. I was like, why? Why is this so bad?
Yeah, I mean, my records are heavy too. I mean, that's like 3 or 4 boxes of records, but that's just like 3 or 4 crates. You know, you can do that. But books just stack and stack and stack. So,
and they say nerds are wimps. If you're reading that many books, you gotta have some muscles.
Yeah, you gotta have some muscles to carry them around, unless they're all on the Kindle.
Oh, nah. Yeah. Actually,
on the Kindle, you dweeb. Dweeb.
Oh my god. The idea of a Kindle holding books makes total sense in the sense of like maintaining space, but there's that warring sense of I want to flip the pages.
Oh yeah,
I want to hold the book. So then you hit that point where you're like,
that's a thing.
When is it worth holding the book and having that space taken up in your home versus having it on the Kindle and just flicking it up?
It's crazy. I mean, she's going through that with like, you know, some things that she wants to hold and have the pages to go through it. Sometimes it's easier to retain information, or sometimes it's just like quick fantasy or sci-fi that might be like 5 or 6 books in a series that you're not sure that's going to be great. Just download them. Yeah. You know, that way you're not like adding more to your shelf that you might not have space for anymore. But yeah, she's just really into putting things in order. And
good way to
awesome. I love her. All right. We are on to your second track.
And you've already borked the order. Like I called it, though. I called it.
I borked the order. Oh, your order. I didn't know you were playing next.
No, the alphabet. You challenged the alphabet, remember?
Oh, I challenged the alphabets.
You brought what like this at me. Think of what if it'd be funny if we like a weird alphabet series, like A, B, C on one episode, then D, E, F, and then, but that would get old, I guess. Can we go through the entire alphabet?
Yeah. Well, a little shout out to Ed Wilson of the podcast, The VG Embassy. He's been doing a series of his favorite composers, and he's been doing it in alphabetical order.
Oh, really?
Pretty sure. Either that or that's how I dreamed it. I dream about Ed a lot.
Oh, my God. See,
my therapist tells me I should stop having so much caffeine at night.
You want to talk about dreams? Actually, I should mention this on the show because I think it'd be
well. Let's get some more music going, and then we'll get to that. Yeah,
it'd be a good topic for. Actually, the music might go great for it too.
Awesome.
So this track comes from the game Columns 3: Revenge of Columns.
Oh yeah, Revenge of Columns.
And the track title is called Explorer, and the composer is Morihiko Akiyama.
Great soundtrack.
Welcome back. You're listening to Explorer from the game Columns 3: Revenge of Columns for some reason. For the Sega Genesis, composed by Morihiko Akiyama. So, first thing worth pointing out is the fact that I love this track. It is... I actually had to look this up because I've played Columns 2, but didn't really do too much of the other Columns games. But I wanted to find a track from a Columns game, and this one hit the spot.
Did you get a chance to try Columns 3?
I did. This track apparently plays in a mode you can select where you're kind of like battling enemies inside of a pyramid. So think like Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine versus, but you're in a pyramid and you're playing Columns.
Cool.
So, fun fact, I think this may be a puzzle game that I'm more bad at than like possibly like Puyo. So I always consider Puyo to be like the hardest puzzle game for me in the sense of like doing well because of the amount of mental gymnastics you have to perform to get combos.
I feel like it's like a chess, like thinking ahead like 4 or 5 moves. Yeah.
But with columns, it's just the orientation that screws me. The fact that the pieces are always vertical.
Yeah.
There's always 3. And you're trying to like get that thing where like one piece, the color you want at the bottom, the next piece, the color's in the middle, and the next piece, the piece at the top. My brain doesn't want to think that way, especially when it comes down to doing large-scale comboing.
Right.
I want to just be like, here's a line, break it!
Yeah, it's almost like you're used to going horizontal.
Yeah. Probably honed by the days of Tetris, because I think that was my first true puzzle game. So why I picked this track, or in general, for the scope of the episode, that is literally what puzzle games typically tend to be. Regardless of the style of puzzle game, you're always made to organize something. Whether you're organizing blobs, or tetraminos, or dice, or gems, you're always trying to take a mess of whole and organize it in a way that it will uniformly break, shatter, sink, whatever the thing is for the game, in an order that will generate the most points and also look just the most spectacular.
Yeah, I think that's why people have said that's why that's one of the appeal to Tetris, like the universal appeal to Tetris is there. It's because it's all about just like getting all of these misshaped blocks to fit together in one big block, without any gaps.
It feels really good.
And our brains, again, like back to the whole thing about brains and seeing colors. It's the same thing. Our brains want to see patterns, and if it can't get to the pattern, it gets frustrated or it breaks like an optical illusion.
And that's when you get the frustrating people like, this is stupid. This game sucks.
Why am I not getting the line piece? Where's my L piece? Where's the L piece?
Squiggly.
Oh, I missed that. Was a cool comic strip. That I think college humor there was like the god of Tetris.
Yeah, the god of Tetris.
My lord, I think he deserves an L piece. Squiggly.
No, he needs an L piece, my lord. Squiggly.
It was so good.
So you were talking about dreams earlier.
Oh God, yes, I had. So I don't know whether it's if I'm having a weird day or if or a bad day or something I ate that was bizarre before I go to bed. But I had this penchant for having bizarre dreams.
Hell, are you going to bed with the sandwich again?
I can't stay in that sandwich. Of course I'm going to bed with the sandwich. So what was this dream I had last night? So I had a dream that I was in a show called Burn Notice.
Yes, which is a real show.
But not this one. This was a different Burn Notice somehow. And I didn't learn Burn Notice was a real show until I looked it up this morning to see.
Everyone's like, oh, was Bruce Campbell in it? Because he's really good in that.
And I didn't even know he was in the show. That's how little I knew about this show.
Anyway, you should watch it sometime. It's pretty good.
So I was in a show called Burn Notice, except that I didn't know if it was really a show or if I was just insane in a world that I perceived to be a show. But the premise of this Burn Notice was an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old brother and sister were horribly murdered by way of a fire by a person. I'll get to that maybe later.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, they wake up in the bodies of a 38-year-old woman and a 35-year-old man. Completely unrelated to each other, but in the same city. And they are living their lives as these people. Meanwhile, their now childless parents are in mourning and they're trying to investigate the murder of their children. And they're trying to assist the police and their family with figuring out who killed them and why they're in this weird predicament where they're new people, but they can't reveal too much because they'll become suspects in their own murder. Furthermore, the only people that know who they are is me, because I'm apparently aware of this TV universe. I'm a security guard for the condo that they're both living in different condos. So it's this weird madcap adventure of solving murders.
I like that story, though. I feel like that'd be like a really cool movie or like television series.
Hey, I just feel like I need to write it now because I woke up like, no, go back to sleep. This is a great premise. I loved it. Loved it. And of course, I was cracking wise jokes like, "Oh, you kids, are you crazy adventures? Whatever. I gotta get back to work. I'm running late.
Gotta catch that murderer."
Let's get down to business, children.
Oh man! All right, we're running a little late here, so I'm gonna go on to my next track. This is from a game on Steam called Engare. Have you heard of this one?
It's not Engare.
It's Engare.
Oh, it's just lacking the D.
Yeah, it's Engare. And it is a puzzle game on Steam. It's all about kinetic art or like a kinetic geometry. which is it's the only reason like it caught my attention. I never got a chance to play it, but it's very, very pretty. And the track name is called Narenj, Narenj, from the game Engare, composed by Meme Rasouli.
Not on guard?
No. You're listening to Narenj from the game Engare, composed by Rasouli. And this is a game about kinetic geometry.
Yeah, you actually showed me a clip of it just now while the track was playing, and I gotta say, it looks pretty cool. And it's like a variety of different puzzle scenarios where they all involve kinetic energy and making it result in the way that the game wants it to look when it's done. Like, they'll break at this tower of bricks, they need to land in this exact way.
Yeah, it's like the art that you find within it's like a physics game, but like doing it in a very artfully way. Like, so much so that there's a mode within the game that you can just create designs by creating like little engines of like falling shapes and spinning shapes to draw these big spirography kind of like Moroccan tile designs, and then you can color them and then flip them around in 3D and shape them the way you want. You can actually export them into 3D like file formats. It's really cool. Like, they just did a whole lot with this game. It's really, really short. It's super, super short. But it's just all about teaching people about this art form.
Honestly, I'm all about it, especially if it's a game that has a separate message to it. In this case, you said convey information about this style of art.
Yeah.
I'm all for that.
Which I'm completely ignorant to the style of art, but I believe that it is like it's very regional somewhere. It's like a Middle East type thing. I don't know.
There's something to be said about games that do this kind of thing too, because I mean, again, we're getting thousands of new video games a year, and a general criticism that a lot of companies or people or the reviewers or humans in general will make about a game is that, you know, it doesn't do enough new. It's not different enough. And the reality of it is, it's because we've practically done everything.
We've done a lot. This game is unique. Or at least it's doing some things that other games have done, but it's like, no, let's do this one thing really well.
Exactly.
I feel like that's happening more now.
People are they're finally stepping out and saying, here's a really bizarre thing that either no one's ever tried before, or they were just too afraid to try. Like, there's no way this would sell, but you know what? I can make this game, and if it sells to 2 people, that's enough.
Yes, yeah, like passion projects, you know, or like I was saying, like distilling down to like one type of mechanic or one type of a game, and just really focusing on that one thing and doing it really well. Like even like Half Minute Hero or stuff like that, where it's like RPG stuff, but like let's just do it like real fast and like do it this specific way.
And in that regard, it became a game unlike any other game, even though it shares a lot of mechanics with an entire genre. I can't name another RPG that plays the way that game does.
Even though games like Enter the Gungeon, they were like, let's make a roguelike, but with like shmup bullet hell elements, but then let's just like take it to the nth degree and see how far we can go with it. And they went like, or a Hotline Miami's the same way too, where they were like, let's make like super Twitch controls top down, but make it so frustratingly hard that the game becomes a puzzle.
Yeah, and that's the most interesting thing of all. It's like, let's take this ridiculously gory game that would appeal to like, you know, people who just want to play a violent game, but make a puzzle and make it difficult so they don't just get a rush. They are actually stuck being stumped on how to beat this level, and then now all of a sudden it's like, I'm just murdering it. And then you're like, if I hit that guy with the bat, he'll ricochet into the door. Now the door is happening at a 45-degree angle.
Now I'll have just enough time to smash that man's head into a toilet, and then I can get out with the cash. And I'm like all of that to me is not appealing, but like the puzzle elements and like the story elements of that game,
that's the appealing part.
I'm like, I really want to play this game, but like so much of the other parts of the game actually kind of turned me off from it. But like,
I'm the same way.
But there's so much other stuff, like with the music. It's just, I should just do it.
I actually have the first one on my. I'm going to say I have it on the Vita right now, and I tried. I'm like, I don't want to do it, but I'm like, again, like you said, the puzzly element and trying to organize a path through the home and doing all this stuff. The thought of that sounds awesome. And then of course you got to bring in the mash. Like, what's the best mash to use?
It's wild. There's a episode of the Forever Sound Version podcast where Michael Bridgewater talks with one of his friends who's like way into the game, and they just listen to a ton of music from the game. And they talk all about it, and it's really interesting. It's really cool. So if you want to go back and look for that, it's pretty interesting. All right, so we're on to your last one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now this is the game that inspired the concept of bringing in this topic. And it goes very well with what we were just discussing. So once the track plays, we'll get into that. But I hope I get the right track names. I wrote down 2, so we'll see. This track is from the game Wilmot's Warehouse, and the track is titled Transmission Transition, and is composed by Eli Rainsberry. Welcome back. You're listening to the track Transmission Transition from the game Wilmot's Warehouse, composed by Eli Rainsberry, existing on, I want to say, Steam and the Switch.
That's where I've seen it, yeah. This game, I saw a review for it somewhere. Maybe it was like Polygon. And I'm like, this is right up my alley.
This
Looks
game,
so cool.
When I got the code to review this, I had no idea how addicted to it I could get. This is the prime example of a game that a major studio would never put out, ever. Because looking at it on paper, it seems like the most uninteresting game I've ever seen. And yet, it was my favorite game that I reviewed last week. I got a code on Steam, and I'm probably going to buy it on the Switch because I want it on my Switch. This freaking glorious. What is the game? You are a square, both in trendiness and in shape, named Wilmot, who's working in a monochrome warehouse. And your job is to stock goods and deliver them to customers. That is the game.
Yeah.
A truck will show up and it will drop off 15 squares. And you have to take those squares in 2 to 3 minutes, put them somewhere, anywhere in the warehouse.
Yeah, it's somewhere where you can get to them easily, right?
That's correct. Yeah. Because when time's up, guests will arrive and they will want things. A combination of things. Some can be easy, some can be frustrating. And you have to acquire them and provide them with what they want and then clock out of work. The faster
then you actually have to clock out?
You have to clock out. Because once you clock out, the faster you do it, the more performance stars you get because you were fast on the take of delivering your goods, which is what you use to upgrade Wilmot and expand the warehouse.
Right, saying that you can you can carry more items, or you can bust through blocks to store more things.
So
cool.
Dash, And the thing that's weird about this game, so 2 things. One is the fact that you might be telling yourself, well, they're all there. I'll just stare at the screen and see where a square is and pick it up and move it. Well, you can only see what a square is when you're close to it. It's basically like providing a sense of a field of vision. If you're not close enough, you're just squinting and you can't see what's in the box.
Right, you have to kind of remember where you put things, right?
Yes.
So cool, I love it.
So then you might be thinking, well, I'll just organize it. And I'm sure it's pretty easy to just organize a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Well, they flim-flam you there too, because they use shapes, they use colors, they use a combination of those things, and they screw with you. So like early on in the game, you're getting blue boxes with stuff in them, and you just kind of picture snowflakes and like mittens and hats, and you're like, this is all winter stuff. So I'm going to make a winter section of the warehouse, and I'll know that mittens are here, skis are here, da-da-da. And then you'll get a thing that's also blue, but it's a beaker. And you're like, okay, well, this blue beaker, I guess it could be like a Antarctic Sub-Zero space research center. I'll just put up with the winter stuff until more science stuff shows up. And you're like, okay, I need to get the science stuff over here, put it here.
So you don't know what's coming next.
No.
So suddenly it could all be blue. And then like you're just like stocking like one corner of the warehouse of just random blue stuff.
And this is how they hit you. This is how they really hit you.
That's hilarious.
So you start out with like, let's say 3 things. So it was easy for me to go, this is all winter stuff. But then they start adding more and more and more different products. Up to a total of 200 different products your warehouse can have stored in it. And it gets more confusing as they provide more stuff because your concept of organization just starts to break down because now color isn't enough, shape isn't enough, time of year isn't enough, price value which you attribute to it yourself is not enough, and you're freaking out. But you only got 2 minutes to sort the truck delivery out and put it all on the walls until 3 days have gone by.
Mm-hmm.
On the 4th day, Lord said, let there be infinite time. And so there was.
Oh, okay, so you have 3 days for like to complete things, to clock out and get bonuses, and on the 4th day you get a day to sort of get everything.
Just to sort it, infinite time. And I'm going to tell you something. When this music is playing and the clock does not exist, there's something primal that unlocks, and you find yourself going to town on your warehouse. You're sorting stuff like a maniac. You have it down to a science. And when that door opens the next day, you're going to be ready to ship goods. I can't. It's a level of amazement in the field of organization that I wish I could invoke on my home, but amazing. I can't.
Oh, that's so cool.
I was so excited to review this week. You have no idea. I was like, I can't wait to talk about a game where I'm stocking goods and shipping them to customers. What is wrong with me? Again, Borderlands 3 came out this week. We got Link's Awakening coming out next week. There's a lot of big hits. What is Purnell excited about? I'm stocking a warehouse and shipping the goods. This is what gaming has become for me, folks.
This is why we're doing this episode.
Yes.
Because when you said, let's do organization, I'm like, get organized. I'm like, yeah, I just read about this game. This looks amazing.
This is so good.
So it looks like, to me, it looks like they designed what could have been a board game and then came up with some kind of action elements to it to make it more more user feedback. You know what I mean? Like to have more things happen. So that's really exciting. More interactive.
And I also just like that it's minimal. Like, it doesn't have amazing graphics. No one's going to complain about the performance of the game.
Yeah.
It's just, here's some rectangles or some squares with shapes in them.
Now, granted, if you're into graphic design, though, like, you're probably seeing things like we're not. Like, the iconography is really specific. The colors are really specific. Like, it's all within a very specific palette of colors. The iconography is really small, but, like, it's really obvious. Like, that is... a sun, that's a plug, that's a ski, that's I don't know what that is, a plus sign. But
they did a genuinely great job with these objects.
Really good, really clever.
And there's something I like. I love that there's also some that I'm almost positive they intentionally wanted you to possibly see two different things.
Two different things.
Like, is it a marble or is it a cat's eye? Yeah. You don't know. It could be both.
Is that a cake or is that a brick?
Bite it and find out. But there you go. It's just.
It's really clever.
It's one of those games like I recommend this wholeheartedly, and yet at the same time I'm like, I'm almost afraid to. So I can picture someone playing this and going, man, what's with you and your OCD stuff, man? Because this isn't even fun to me. I'm like, no, it's fun to me. It's glorious.
That's a great game. It looks great. I think a lot of people are into it.
Yes.
I hope a lot of people get a chance to try it out. Maybe if there's enough success on Switch, it might get ported to other systems as well.
I hope so. It deserves to
but,
get
they're
all
gonna catch a lot of people with just Steam and Switch. That's enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I'm gonna turn this track down. This nice mellow track.
Like you have to turn it down far.
Yeah. And we're gonna go into the part of the show that is called the bonus round.
Bonus round.
Bonus round is the part of the show where we play covers and remixes on our theme, and our theme is organization. And the original organization game is Sokoban.
Oh!
Sokoban. That is the Japanese art of moving crates.
Oh, that's the Japanese art. No. It's like a guy with like an oil painting, just like moving boxes as old as time itself. It's pushed boxes.
I mean, like you've seen this. What was the game? It was called Sokoban on the Game Boy in Japan, but in America it was
Boxel.
Boxel. So you might remember Boxel. It's like a small room with boxes. You have to move the boxes onto targets, but you can't pull them. You can only push. Mm-hmm. So it's very like think ahead. It's very plan your next move. Don't block yourself. Get them in the right spot. And this theme has been iterated into mini games across for years and years and years and years and years.
Most recent one I've played is one where it's moving boxes, but they also reflect light rays.
Yes.
So it's a combination of you can only push the blocks, but you also got to make sure the light hits the mirror inside the box.
That's like another level of complexity. But if you go to sokobanonline.com, there are just tons and tons of puzzles, and they add more mechanics of not just targets, but you have to match the colors of the crates to the targets. They add conveyor belts. They add crazy amount of stuff, and the more they add, the more confusing it is to me. But there's so much there, and they have their own soundtrack.
Oh,
which is amazing. It's by the chiptune artist Beek, Beek. His name is Chris J. Del Camino, and it is fantastic. Mm-hmm. So of all of the music he wrote for this game that you just play online, I mean, you can play it right now. You can just turn this podcast off.
Don't do that.
And just start playing this game. This is a bonus track called Youthful.
Ooh, okay.
So they're all the tracks are like mindful, thoughtful. This one is youthful.
A quality very important for pushing lots of boxes.
Yeah. But this is finally an appropriate bonus round track because it is a bonus track of the game. From sokobanonline.com. This is Youthful by the artist Beek. the track Youthful, a bonus track from the game Sokoban Online, sokobanonline.com, by the artist Beek, Chris J. Del Camino.
This was a gem.
Yes, I know. Like once I started looking for Sokoban games, I found like just remakes and other versions of Sokoban outside of like the Game Boy, and I found out like on the Game Boy DS or Nintendo DS, and then I found this. I'm like, this is awesome. Like they commissioned this guy to build some like just some amazing chip tunes. Like the soundtrack has like straight chip tunes. Like this song has a mixture of like Game Boy and guitar and like live drums, and some of it's just piano. It's really cool. Really cool.
I genuinely found a solid love for it. I was doing the little bit of a dance to it. Even it was like found my little groove to it.
Yeah, you were dancing along to this track, so I knew I got a winner here. So
yes,
if you want more information about this one, I've got a link to his Bandcamp where you can get all of the tracks, and I'll have links to the website too where you can play Sokoban because it's addictive. Like just play through the tutorials because like it starts off nice and easy, but like even the easy stuff is just like hard.
This is a dangerous world I could be stepping into.
Yeah, it's fun though. All right, and also the graphics are super cheesy. There's like zero animation. It's just like little man.
It's like this stick figure just sliding across the floor.
It's like they have like a little bit of It reminded me a little bit of what's that game you're playing? 1001 Spikes.
Okay,
like that level of detail, but like they're very like blocky, which is a game about blocks. So, all right, so what you got?
All right, so I went a little bit of weird level on this one for myself too. And I only discovered this track a few days ago.
No kidding.
So I guess this episode will release on coming Monday. That Friday, the Sega Genesis Mini is coming out.
Yeah, that's right.
It is, as you'd expect, a mini console with a bunch of ROMs stacked into it.
Right.
Hopefully the biggest and the best of your Genesis childhood memories. Now, what I did not realize is that the menu music, keep in mind the theme for organization is obviously menu organization, where the games are stored, what folders, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, the menu music for this system is an original track composed by Yuzo Koshiro.
That's right. Yeah.
And I listened to it, and I loved it. It is a nostalgia trip, and I don't want to say anything about it until after it's played, but just know, well, if you don't, I'll be sad, but you will love it.
It's going to take you for a ride?
Yes. So this is the Sega Genesis Minis menu music composed by Yuzo Koshiro. You just listened to the menu music theme for the Sega Genesis Mini Game Console, composed by Yuzo Koshiro. And I hope that you enjoyed that interesting trek down memory lane where he took what I gather to be actual tracks from a number of different well-known Genesis games, remixed them slightly, and then slapped them together into a nice medley.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I love the way it started with that kind of Starlight Zone-ish. It was like Starlight Zone / golf game, which I would love a full realized song of that. It was so chill. And then once Comic Zone started playing, I heard that guitar and I was like, oh, are they doing Road Rash? But no, man, it was Comic Zone.
That's right.
That's really good. But he toned down the that like harsh guitar sound.
I guess I can see why, too, because I mean, as much as I love that sound, I probably would have been a little heavy for that track combo.
It's really, really good. That's just super cool. The one thing I'm disappointed is that the Genesis really built itself on top of like sports games and like big licensed like games, which of course they wouldn't be able to re-release again.
Yeah.
So, but to that credit though, or to that merit, is that like suddenly this system's going to have a lot of games that a lot of people have never played before.
Yep. If you were all about the Bulls versus Lakers or the Bulls versus Blazers or the Bulls versus a fading contract deal, you're going to be playing a lot of games that you're not familiar with.
Or some of the great Disney games that were on the system.
Oh, yeah, they're getting their own little bit of a remake coming up. That whole Lion King Aladdin combo.
Oh, that's right.
Putting on the Switch, which is actually quite a shocker to me, but it's also genius marketing. Like, hey, we just re-released Lion King and Aladdin in theaters, but now they're live action.
Granted, those games look gorgeous on the Sega Genesis. Like the animation was amazing.
Oh yeah, and I'm that guy where it's like, it is unfortunate the Capcom Aladdin game is not going to be on this collection.
I'm surprised it wasn't in that last one, that Saturday morning cartoon thing they did. I guess it doesn't fit with that whole thing. But
well, yeah, because I think the Saturday morning cartoon thing was only NES games.
Oh, that's right, it was. Yeah, but those are all Capcom. I was like, that would have been perfect.
Disney Afternoon. I loved it.
Maybe there's another one on the way. But anyway, if you want more information on the bonus round part of our show, go to rhythmandpixels.com. And we'll have links to SoundClouds and Bandcamps and everywhere where you can buy the music and support the artists. Thanks for joining us on episode 19-10 of Rhythm and Pixels. Get organized.
You goober?
Get yourself organized, you goober.
That's right. That's the full title.
Gooberton. That's right. I'm talking to you. No, this has been good. This has been a great way to explore more puzzle games. Puzzle games that I've enjoyed on the phone that I never really thought of, but I was suddenly like, oh, that's right. 3's did a great soundtrack.
Theming, I mean, there's a positive and a negative to it. Theming is fun because it allows you to go outside of your comfort zone / wheelhouse and come up with tracks that otherwise you might not even think to look into for an episode. The downside, of course, coming up with themes and then rolling with them.
Yeah, so if you have ideas, if you, the listener, have ideas for themes, or for track suggestions, or if you just want to say hi and say hello, we'd like to say hi back, please send us an email.
rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
And if you'd like more information about our show, full track listings from all the episodes, and access to all of our episodes and everything else that we're doing, check out the website.
rhythmandpixels.com.
And we can say hi to us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. It's Rhythm and Pixels, all one word. We have a little Facebook group called Rhythm and Pixels Chat. You can check us out there. You just look us up and we'll just add you into the thing and we can just talk about games and music. Go to youtube.com/Rhythm and Pixels, and we have a 24/7 YouTube radio station playing nothing but 8-bit and 16-bit music. And if you'd like to support the show, just, tell people about it.
Share it with your friends.
Yeah. We're not going to tell
Shout
you.
it from the rooftops.
I mean, we're not going to tell you, what to do or how to do it. You can just
shout it from the rooftops.
You can shout from the rooftops.
Spray paint it all over your own property.
But, I mean, Halloween's coming. You can dress up as your favorite podcast host.
Oh, that would be scary.
Yeah. You just have to wear headphones.
That is true.
And walk around with a microphone.
Really big glasses.
Yeah, big manly glasses.
And let your hair grow out mangily like a werewolf.
And then shave your head.
Go bald.
Or tell your family. I mean, honestly, we have a referral program. If you the next 3 people that you tell, we will send you another family member.
I'm still working on the construction process here, Rob. Don't just offer that.
I'm still waiting on the I'm still waiting on the results.
It's a difficult process. I'm putting humans together.
Oh, well, get on that. Yeah, our listeners demand it. But if you'd like to support us in other ways, you can go to patreon.com/rhythmandpixels. You can support us there. You get access to a live stream of our show being recorded every month, so you can hang out in the chat with us and make jokes and make fun of us. And you also get a shout out at the end of every episode. So we'd like to thank that Nick Walker, Mike Myers, Steve Miller, the Autistic Gamer 89, Cameron Worma, Christopher Shenstrom, Bobby Arson of One Up Funk, Wicked Sephiroth, OK Impala, Carlito from the Heroes 3 podcast, Michael Bridgewater from the Forever Sound Version podcast, Brian Pitt, Chris Murray, that dude, Das Dude, Martine Argenius, The Last Rican, Jupiter Jazz, Solus Sanctuary, Damian Beckles, Joe Vasallo, Chris Steenerson, Alex the Messenger, and David Smith.
And for the record, Michael Bridgewater is doing his, I believe he cemented that he's going to do his charity stream.
Yes, in November.
Which is going to be some rubbishy games, which honestly, it gave me a great idea for a topic in the future to do with him, which I think will be hilarious.
Yeah, we have some tentative plans to do a show together in the next week or two.
It's going to be a doozy.
Which is going to be great because we're going to be like, oh, it's only 8 o'clock. And he's like, it's getting to be 2 a.m.
Come on, guys, wrap it up.
So, yeah, it's great. It's good time. It's always good to hear from him and hearing about his progress through Enter the Gungeon. I'm always interested in hearing that, honestly.
Yeah, he is wrecking shop.
Yeah, I love that stuff. But yeah, anyway, thank you all for your continued support of the show. Don't port our show to any other system.
Except the Switch.
That is a good place.
Port Rhythm and Pixels to the Switch. If you're listening, Nintendo, please port us to the Switch.
Yeah. Oh, I love that podcast. Is it on the Switch? No. All right. Well, maybe next time.
Yeah, it'll be there. It's coming.
Digital only, though.
No.
Yeah. Sorry.
No physical copies.
No physical copies. Actually, we should do that for our Patreon members. Send physical copies of the show.
That would be
you get like a USB stick. No, that
we could have album covers.
Oh man, we'll press to vinyl an episode.
Bam!
That'd be amazing. That'd be really, really worthless.
Nah, you can play disc golf with it.
Anyway, I gotta get out of here because I gotta get up early. But anyway, thank you all for listening to the show. We'll see you in World 20.
StacyCon 2020.
2020. Yeah, wow. Yeah, 2020 is coming. But Podcast World 20 is on its way. This is Rhythm and Pixels. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
Thank you for listening and have a safe week.
And remember, communication can be difficult for some. It can be difficult for me. I'm not going to lie to anybody. And it comes with its own set of challenges, especially if you're trying to introduce yourself to meet new people and make new connections and contacts. But certain things can factor into it that may make it a little easier for you. Most importantly, just the art of attempting a communication and conversation. And obviously, there's 2 things that can come into play to make it easier there. 1, be inquisitive. Want to be interested in learning about the people you're communicating with. Ask questions. And then beyond that, actually listen to what they have to say. Take it all in. Don't just prepare the response before you even hear the answer to the question. But, in line with the episode theme, other last bit of importance to that is organizing your thoughts. Take the time during conversation, if need be, to just clear your throat. Or if you don't want to do that, even if you like a little bit of a tick, like, rub your fingers again, whatever it takes. Everyone has their tell.
Take time to think about it.
Think about your replies. Don't just out. Say something that you don't want to say, or have your thoughts misconstrued or unorganized. Take the time, get the thought constructed, organize it, lay it on the table, baby. Because trust me, you've got great things to say, and people want to hear it.
And don't do what we do.
That's for sure, because I'm just barfing words.
Blabbering around.
Yamma ding, yo. Have a good night.
Good night.